In this video, we're going to explore a few tips and tricks that you can use to take your macro photos to the next level. The key piece of kit you'll need for macro photography is, of course, a macro lens. A lens like this 100mm Canon allows you to frame close-up subjects at 1:1 view, meaning that the size of the subject can be recorded in actual size on the image sensor. A longish focal length like this is a good option, as it means you can keep your distance from the subject. We'll also look at more unusual options later in the video. With any close-up photography, one of your first considerations should be depth of field. The macro lens here goes as wide as f2.8, but at this aperture, with a close-up subject, the plane of focus would stretch to a few millimeters at most. So if you want front-to-back sharpness, it's better to stick to narrower apertures like f8, f16 or f22. You can see the difference here between f5.6 and f16. A tripod isn't always essential for macro shots, but it does free up your hands and allows you to perfect your focusing. Focusing is one of the biggest challenges. Often it's easiest to move the entire camera back and forth slightly to find the perfect point of focus. This can be awkward when using a tripod, so it helps if you have a focus rack. I don't have one here, but I've improvised by using the sliding tripod plate on my gimbal head, which allows me to slide the camera forwards or backwards just like a rack. Water can be a great addition to your macro shots. The bright highlights and delicate details it adds can elevate flower photos to another level. To get the look of fresh rainfall, we can simply use a sprayer filled with water. If you find that the water runs off your plant too quickly, try mixing it with glycerin at about a 2:1 water to glycerin ratio. This sticky, sugary substance makes the water more durable and glutinous, while still resulting in wonderful drops. If you want a more unusual perspective for your macro photography, you might want to try a different focal length, like this Laowa 15mm. It's a super wide angle macro that offers a unique field of view by showing both the subject and its surroundings. This sets it apart from most other macros where the background is mostly blur. As such, the Laowa is great for showing context, but it can be a challenge to find an uncluttered backdrop. To get up close to the subject, it needs to be almost pressing against the front element of the lens. This proves a challenge with timid subjects, but for more placid creatures and plants, the lens can give you incredible results. A simple 5-in-1 reflector can be very useful for macro photography. As well as bouncing the light, we can also use it to diffuse and soften the sunlight. Often, delicate, soft light is better, as it more gently reveals the form and colour of the subject. By positioning the panel between the sun and the subject, we get this lovely soft light. As well as softening the daylight, we can also add some light of our own. A speed light provides a welcome burst of light to supplement daylight and lets you illuminate the subject from any angle. I'm using a wireless trigger to set off my flash. Fired direct, the flash can be too harsh. A small softbox attachment results in more diffuse, more natural light. So there we have it. That's a few tips and tricks to help you make the most of your macro photography.